Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Courageous Men Winning Weekend. This is the launch of the highly anticipated book, The Heart of a Black Man. I'm your host, Dr. Latane Phillips. I am the CEO of Hunger Busters. We're an organization that feeds kids every day after school, their third meal of the day. But enough about me. Let's talk about the book. The Heart of the Black Man includes 30 contributors of amazing men all around the world. From countries such as London, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. The Heart of a Black Man shares inspirational stories of triumph and resilience. It's a compelling anthology of stories that provides a resounding voice to the experiences of Black men who have faced significant adversity. Throughout history, systemic injustices, racism, discrimination have all resulted in a range of obstacles that have impacted the lives and well being of Black men. The Heart of a Black Man offers a message of hope and empowerment and shares the personal stories of resilience, perseverance, and triumph of Black men from the United States and other international cities, including London, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. Readers can gain insight into the struggles and victories that have shaped the lives of Black men. Anyone seeking a deeper understanding of the experience of a Black man should definitely read this book. I want to start off by bringing someone in that has been tremendously instrumental to the book. I want to welcome Dr. Diana Maria. She is a best-selling Amazon author. She has been an award-winning fitness model and done all sorts of things as an entrepreneur. How are you this evening, Dr. Diana? She is also the editorial director of Courageous Woman magazine. Let's give a warm round of applause from our virtual audience to Dr. Diana Maria. How are you this evening? You're muted. Unmute yourself, doctor.
There we go. Exactly. Was not expecting that. Thank you so very much. I'm doing absolutely amazing and so very excited to be kicking off this Winning Men weekend. Finally, we're here.
I'm glad we're here as well. So this is a book about Black men. Why did you decide to get involved?
Oh my goodness. When Dr. Berry, when she just gave me the title, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. The title alone is extremely powerful. It really, really drew me in. I got to the point where I just kept calling and texting her, like almost obsessed, different ideas and things that we could do. And she was like, you know what, wait a minute, like this is just really, really good information and I'm going to offer you a position. So I'm super, super excited. This is the very first time that I'm digging in hand in hand with her on a project for her publication. So it's a huge honor. I'm very excited because I just felt like these are some incredible men who have done some amazing things. I have a 7-year-old son. I'm a single mother. I just know that there's many times that I don't always kind of know what he's feeling, even at 7 years old, and just thinking of how he's going to continue to grow. So as a young boy, a teenager, a man, I knew that this would be something amazing that's recorded and he can look back on. I can look back on in different ways that I be there for him. One day, you amazing men might even be his mentor. Like that's just how powerful you guys are. So I'm just looking forward to understanding a little bit better, thinking about my grandfather, my grandparents raised me, my dad, my stepdad, my brother, my uncles, my cousins, my friends. There's so many things that we probably just don't of what you go through on a daily basis when you hit those doors. And I do want to have more insight. I do want to be that great Black woman in your lives that can support you. We think that we know, but I really feel like so many of us do not really know what you go through. And so being able to support your efforts and help you to do better and be better, I take on that, 100%. So yeah, those were the main reasons that I decided that this is definitely something that I want to be a part of.
Well, Dr. Diana, we thank you for the early mornings and late nights that you've put in to make this project happen. And we also thank you for all that you do for Courageous Woman magazine. Thank you for your time and everything that you've done to launch this amazing book. I want to talk to you. I want to bring up the next person, Miss Tish Burnett. She is a Los Angeles-based conceptual fashion photographer. She's been taking photos since the age of 13. She's a graduate of the Los Angeles Film School and earned a degree in film directing. She has also worked with many celebrities such as Neo, Taraji P. Henson, Chris Brown, Wiz Khalifa, Sean Kingston. I can go on and on with all the other celebrities. She is currently the personal photographer for Sierra and Russell Wilson. Thank you, Ms. Tish Bernay, for being here. How are you today? Unmute yourself for us, dear.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. So,
Hi.
how are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for being here. Now, you're responsible for the cover,
Yes.
and I understand that it's a series that you created. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So this series came from just a moment during the pandemic. I felt there was a lot going on with our community, and we watched as a whole see Black men, Black people, but especially Black men, pretty much get assassinated on social media. We saw that happen in real time. And I feel like we rallied around our community by those marches, all of this stuff that we saw happen during the pandemic. I felt like that was the right time for me to create something that showed the strength of a Black man and how powerful a Black man can be, especially when they're free. So that is where that series came from.
Thank you for that. That's a tremendous answer. So you've shot many magazine covers for Courageous Woman magazine, and
Yes.
can you tell me about some of the film projects that you're working on now?
Right now, my mom and I, we've been putting together a project that we are really, really excited about. Actually, maybe two projects right now. But she came up with this really, really great idea, and I just kind of like took it and ran with it. She's always coming up with ideas. The lady she's amazing. I'm sure you guys know she's a really creative person. So she came up with this idea, and I'm like, okay, let's run with it. Let's make this the project that we work on right now. So that's what we have two in the making right now.
Beautiful. So that's great. Now I see you're also the photographer and creative director for Sheen magazine and their most recent cover.
Yes. Yes, this one just dropped 2 days ago. So that one just hit the shelves. This is my first printed cover in stores and on newsstands. That one kind of just took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting for that to happen at all. So yes.
So when you're taking pictures, can you just give us some insight? How do you know when you have that perfect shot?
It kind of, for me, it's more so about lighting and angles. Once I really position myself and I decide like, okay, this is how I want to shoot it. And when I feel like the model is really reciprocating that back to me, we can get the shot. We can get the shot in like 5 minutes if we're really both on that same type of energy.
Gotcha. Well, continued success in all that you do. And thank you for your contribution to not just the book, but just to Black men across the world.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
So my next guest is Eric Mays. Eric wrote the foreword for this amazing project. He's the councilman for the First Ward in the city of Flint, Michigan. He was elected as Flint City Council member in November 2013. So he's been in office for a long time. He's in his 10th year, and prior to becoming a councilman, Mays worked for General Motors for 30 years. Now you can't get people to work at a place for 30 days. He was a WAAU elected official, holding various appointed positions, and represented the United Auto Worker Employee Union on the union side. Welcome, Councilman Mays. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. That's UAW, not WAU. It's UAW, United Auto Workers. That's the union.
Correct. So when you were approached and told about the project, what made you say, hey, I got to get involved?
Well, relationships. I'm a Black man. I know some of the Flint people personally, and the concept was appealing to me. So, the previous speaker spoke very well. And so some of those same things kind of grabbed me as it relates to Black men and some of the ups and downs and struggles that we experience in America.
Absolutely. So you've been a leader for quite some time with the union and now as a councilman. Can you tell me some things that you see, from Black men where we need to improve?
Well, we need to stay steadfast and resilient. You know, America has not been very kind to Blacks overall, men and women. You know, we started out less than a man and a woman. And so we need to improve our steadfastness, our resilience. And, you know, it's always a trait of mine to be honest and upright.
Well, thank you for that. And now, one last question before we let you go. So, if you're talking to a young man that just can't find his way, and you know his excuse is, "Hey, I'm Black in America, man," what do you tell him?
Well, not only what you tell them, what you can do. Talk is cheap. If you find somebody that you can help and mentor and give resources to, and stick with that person, I think that's the best help. You can verbally encourage them, but I think it takes a little more than that. If everyone reach one and teach one and hold on to one, whether it's a family member or somebody from the outside, I think we can be successful.
Councilman Mays, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for your time and words of wisdom, and thank you for deciding to become a part of this project and with writing it forward. We appreciate you for that.
Okay, I thank the people who invited me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So next up, we have the visionary, the founder, the person who put all this together. She is the editor-in-chief of Courageous Woman magazine. She is also the editor-in-chief and curator of Courageous Men magazine. But most importantly, today, she is the reason why we're all here. She is the curator, the genius, the person that put all this together. You want me to keep going? Okay, that's enough. Okay, so I want to welcome Dr. Talisha Berry. How are you, Doc?
I'm wonderful. I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being at this host for this segment. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate every single man that is a part of the Heart of a Black Man. This is a project that's very dear to me and to my heart, just being a Black woman in support of my Black men, my brothers, my uncles, my father, my grandfather. Yes, I am there for you, and I wanted this project to show that Black women are in support of Black men. And yeah, this is one of those heart projects.
Gotcha. So let's talk about your heart. So Courageous Woman magazine has been around for quite some time. You've helped other authors get off the ground and become very successful bestsellers in their own right. And so you're successful, everything's going well. So why do you decide, hey, I got to do something for men?
Well, because I have a lot of men around me, and they're like, you do all these things for women. What you got for men? And so we decided in 2020, I've been thinking about it and talking with my team about it for a while, to do a Courageous Men magazine. And it was going to be a special for Father's Day in 2020. And we did that, and it was awesome. We had 20 men, and it was during the time of the murder of George Floyd, and we all witnessed that, and it really pierced my heart to witness that. And I wanted to know what the men felt like that were a part of that issue. So I asked each one of them, how are you feeling? Because sometimes we need to ask men how they're feeling. Sometimes they're not going to volunteer. They're not going to tell us what's on their hearts unless we ask them. And so I asked each one of them how they were feeling and to write it down for me. And some of the responses was so just piercing. It pierced my soul, just their responses. And I'm like, wow, we really need to give more of this platform to our men sometimes. And so at that point, I decided I wanted to do an anthology. We've done many anthologies with the women, and I wanted to really open the platform for men, just like we did the magazine. And so that's how it kind of came about there. And then the title, I wanted to hear the hearts of men, of Black men.
Dr. Berry, could you speak to young entrepreneurs that want to be like you, that have a dream to be an entrepreneur, They want to be successful, but they don't have any direction. They don't have a mentor. They don't have a mom. They don't have a father directed them. No positive influence. Talk to them right now.
Well, I would say there's something that you want to do, you dream about, you have the energy to do it, and you just don't know, just do it. I had to start with Courageous Woman. I was going through a very trial time in my life, but I had a dream, and when you got a dream, you got it doesn't let you go. You got to keep going for it. Right. And so I had a friend who had a thriving publication in Detroit, and I asked him, like, I want to move my Courageous Woman was a blog at the time. I said, I want to, do this as a magazine. I work for magazines, but I want to have my own. He said, you're going to need some money. And so I said, I'm going to restart my life. I don't have no money like that, And so he said, you're going to need at least $30,000. And so I'm a grassroots person. I believe, I have faith that if God give you vision, he's going to give you the provision. No, I did not have nowhere near $30,000. I looked at my account. I was missing some zeros, okay? But I'm a woman of faith and believe that if you step out on faith, God will, he's going to work it out for you. So I decided to put it all together, even though I didn't have it. I was just operating faith. So I tell people, just if you have a dream, write the vision, write it down. So I wrote everything down, created a brochure and everything, and just went out in the community and started talking to people. It was my family, my friends. I said, okay, I need all y'all to come together. Don Jones was the news anchor at the time, a good friend. I said, you're going to be on the cover. She was like, yeah. So everybody was excited, and we distributed 4,000 copies of that very first issue, starting with a $30 seed. So if you got something that you want to do, just step out of faith and do it. Just go for it. Find a way. You can start where you are and use what you have. I had $30, so you can start too.
There you go. So a lot of times when rappers come out on stage, they love to let the audience know that they're not ready. And say, y'all not ready, and they still go ahead and perform. So for the millions of people that are going to read this book, get them ready, Dr. Berry. What can we expect?
Oh my God, just me reading the stories. I've read these stories and have read them again. They are so powerful. And not all of them are about, racism. They're these men's hearts, and they're talking about all sorts of things that they experience in their lives. And some of them are actually funny stories. So you're going to be thoroughly entertained and move inspired when you pick up The Heart of a Black Man. So I'm super excited. I'm so glad that I got a copy. And so get your hands on a copy today. You can go to Amazon right now and actually get the digital copy right now. We're looking forward to really pushing this book and even helping these men to get their voices heard, to be out there on podcasts and different things that we're working behind the scenes to make sure their voices are really heard, their hearts are really heard, so that it impacts and inspires more people to go forward and do what they desire to do. So go to Amazon, get your copy.
We'll get it. So Dr. Berry, words can't express how grateful everyone is and the debt that Black men owe you for putting this together. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your vision, and thank you for your perseverance.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk to some of the authors. So we have some authors here on deck. So I want to start off. Do we have Dr. Larry Laws? Are you in the building, sir?
Yes, I am, Dr. Phillips.
All right. So tell us who you are and where you're from.
Well, I'm Larry Laws Sr., and so that means there's a junior someplace. And I'm the founder and president and founder of First Home Alliance. And I'm here in the D.C. area in Falls Church, Virginia.
Sounds good. So you're a part of this book, and you have a chapter in there. So what was the most difficult part? And talk to us about when you were writing, what made it difficult, but more importantly, how'd you overcome it?
Well, I think Dr. Berry mentioned a few things there in reference to, one, asking a question to a Black man, and one, if you get the answer, and then the third hardest thing is writing it down. But I was born in Camden, Arkansas, back in 1962. It's been a while. And so we was groomed as kids, as young men, that, if you're hurt, you put a Band-Aid on it. or you just go out and put some mud and just, continue on. But show feelings is not something that we're accustomed to, is showing feelings. And we don't appreciate you asking us how we feel more than twice. Ask us how you feel. I'm okay. How you feel? Okay. How you feel the third time, it gets underneath our skin, because we really do not want to tell you how we feel. And so, when it comes to writing this article, now, of course, I've been inspired by some family members, but I have a great team. I've been fortunate, hopefully more time to explain the organization that I've been able to establish because of this, to help lead me in the direction that I'm going. But I have a great team behind me with a staff and also a media team, is to actually go forward. Maybe that story that you have, it may mean little to you, even though it set me on a good path, but it could mean a lot to others. And so with that, what was most difficult, if you ask that question, it's like peeling the skin off a scab, off a sore. Okay. And so I actually had to remove that scab and experience it again, to actually write about what happened over some 20 years ago. And so I would say that is the most difficult portion of it, is trying to recap and bring that to writing, what actually happened.
So when we're talking about what happened, then let me just ask you this: what was your inspiration? What inspired you? Was it a friend, a family member? Did it come from within? Talk to us about that.
I've been inspired again. Inspired in reference to write, about the team that's around me. In reference to write and put the story forward. In reference to where I am today, which is the founder of a nonprofit organization. Really, I've been inspired. I was inspired by my mom. My mom became a first-time home buyer when she was 65 years old. Amazing. And so I was born from my siblings, the last child from both my mom and father. And my mom, she did a lot, for the family. She was the heartbeat. Maybe my father may have been the muscle, may have been somewhat of the brainchild, but my mom was the heartbeat of the family. And we came up as kids. We didn't own a home in Camden, Arkansas. And my dad passed away early, but my mom became a homeowner at age 65. And from that inspired me, that I could help others become homeowners and teach them financial literacy, which is something that people in my generation, or from where I'm from, didn't know a whole lot about. So inspired to start the nonprofit was through my mom. Inspired to actually write, it comes from my crew, my media team, and shout out to Morton Media and also Sharon Morton, that actually encouraged me to say, hey, Larry, I think there's a lot in that story, and you need to share it, because there is a lesson for others to learn about the struggle, that you went through, which I was unjustly accused of kidnapping and burglary.
Oh, wow.
And so statistics will show that just by me born as a male child, I have 9 times of a chance to go to jail and be incarcerated as a female. 9 times. But as a Black man, and my counterpart, Caucasian, as a Black man, 28.9% chance of being incarcerated in my lifetime, versus my counterpart, 4.4%. And so the situation that I had to endure,
that's big,
in the military, while in the military, after serving in the military for over 15 years, with being promoted to sergeant first class, with a package of going to the officers candidate school, on the desk to be approved, and with a top secret clearance, SCI. That's secret compartmental information, just a little bit above than just your regular top secret clearance.
Right.
With all of that, being accused because I fit a description.
Wow.
Because I fit a description, but that description did not define me. And so in reference to pulling that scale back, and releasing that was the most difficult challenge it was to write about. Not because of being, a founder of an organization, a nonprofit, and helping others to pursue and achieve their dreams. But actually, for a Black man to go through, because there's a lot of imprisonment at this time, Black men that is accused of things that they did not commit. To be charged, the penalty for kidnapping is anywhere from 5 years to life.
Wow.
5 years to life. And so I went through that. Mm-hmm. And I think no matter where you are today, where you think you are today, it's maybe you're there because of your environment. You're there because of your belief or your whatever it may have came from, your family or your neighborhood. But having a mind and being creative as to where you can be, do not let where others think that you are prevent you from thinking where you could be. And so I think that I'm a testament as to individuals that have a dream of achieving higher heights and actually being able to accomplish them.
Dr. Larry, we certainly appreciate your time. And more importantly, we appreciate you sharing your story with us. We definitely look forward to reading your chapter in the book. Thank you for being with us this evening.
All right, thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, so I want to bring up a pastor, Pastor Anthony Shannon. How are you today, sir? Tell us where you're from and what you do.
Man, I am from the heart of Detroit, Michigan. Born in Pontiac, though, but went to Detroit and lived in Detroit, raised in Detroit. After, it was half and half Pontiac, half Detroit. But everybody know Detroit. They don't know Pontiac. But
gotcha.
It's still there, Michigan. It's still the glove.
Gotcha. I got you.
Good to be here, though, my brother.
Thank you for being with us. So you have a chapter in the book.
Yes, sir.
And there were some things that you revealed about yourself and your upbringing. Kind of talk to us about, young Anthony and where he was then and where he is now.
Well, it's interesting because, we had to find out that right now I'm talking clear, articulating, enunciating. But when I was earlier, Anthony, he did not articulate, couldn't enunciate, couldn't speak, had a learning disorder, couldn't even talk, didn't even talk till I was about 4 years old. So they thought to my mother, he's never going to talk. You might as well prepare to get him to just live a lame life. But my mother was a praying woman. So she's like, that's not so. And so self-discipline has been what I push all day long, because when the work was presented before me, that what we had to do in order for me to be able to talk, in order for me to overcome learning and how to learn. And what we found out through all of this is that everybody has the capacity to learn, but everybody has a different rate of learning. And once people learn the rate of learning, whether they are visual, kinesthetic, or whatever, and then once they learn that, anybody can learn anything and everything. And so that's why from that point till now, we continue to push self-discipline is the price tag if you want to be leader.
Pastor, I like how you said you had a praying mother and she said not so. Too many times we get defined by labels. Can you talk about how labels can define a person, whether it's good or bad?
Absolutely. All in the life, all I ever heard was telling my mother, every school that I went to, telling my mother, he can't get it, he's not getting it. So I thought, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a gangbanger. So I started being in gangs, developing gangs. I would go into school. Anytime they asked me to read, I would be disruptive, cause drama. And they would start labeling me. Take him, send him down. He got ADD. He's on the short bus, all of that. And I will never forget when I met Mrs. Horton. Mrs. Horton was very beautiful. She probably was the finest woman in that school. Everybody wanted to talk to her. And she come talking to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever you say, whatever you want to do is fine. She walked in the hallway with me, and everybody stopped. And I'm like, yeah. So she's like, don't you ever put those labels on yourself. Don't you ever say what you can't do, who you're not. You're not no short bus. She said, you're brilliant. You're beautiful. You can learn anything. And I went, whatever you say, I believe it. Believe that. And she helped me to overcome taking all of the labels off of myself that was negative, that was innocuous, and that will bring you down. And so now I train young men I take the hard cases of young men and I say, bring me your kid, give them to me. And when I get done with their kid, their moms, their dads, their schools are amazed because I remember where I was, who helped me, Mrs. Horton. I become their Mrs. Horton, but only in the male form.
Good deal. So you went from not talking to stuttering to using words like innocuous.
There you go.
Well, Pastor, we thank you for your time. We definitely
Yes,
look forward to reading your chapter in your book. And thank you for being a part of this amazing project.
Thank you. And thank Dr. Talisha Berry. She's doing a great job. And anything we can do to support her, that's what we're going to do, especially talking about Black men.
Amen. Amen. So thank you for your time, sir. So is Chucky in the house? I want to talk to Chucky. Mr. Chucky Montgomery. How are you this evening, sir? You got yourself on mute, so unmute you before you unmute yourself, sir. There you go.
I'm doing good this evening. Doing good.
Good. So we're glad you're here. So, the theme tonight has been things that have caused us to kind of move forward in what we're doing. So kind of tell us what inspired you to contribute to Black Man Magazine, and more importantly, what message are you looking to convey to readers?
The title of my chapter is entitled "The Rise from the Fall," and there's so many events that happen in lives, that cause people to fall, and some people don't know how to get back up again. I have talked to several people. You see people that are homeless now that are educated. So it's different events that happen in life. It might be a loss of a child, loss of a wife, a husband, a mother, a father. But it's these events that take place in our lives, that can really grab a hold onto us. And like I said, a lot of men don't talk about things, and we hold those things in, and these are problems that we start to develop. And so I just want to encourage, people as I go on, hey, keep pushing. Things happen, events happen in life, but you got to keep pushing, and we got to be our brother's keeper to help them push on.
That's big time. Can you maybe give us some insight on why it's hard sometimes for people to get back up?
It's really hard to describe, because as I've been talking about the book, and I've been telling people about the chapter that I've been writing, and just to look in the people's eyes, they say, you know what, that's true, I've been there. And I think it's just, I think somebody said earlier, you get hurt, you put a Band-Aid on it. You say you're all right. And a lot of times, so many times we smile behind the camera.
Yeah.
We smile behind the work. We go to work, but we have so much on our mind. We're dealing so much with family, the world, and so much going on in the world. We smile for the show, but we really hurt on the inside.
Chucky, tell us how this book changed you.
But before I even wrote the title of the chapter, any words of the chapter, once I got Miss Berry's email, I started praying. And I said, Lord, I need you to speak through me. What you want me to talk about? I wanted to come from you.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, we definitely appreciate your time. We appreciate your vulnerability because I can feel it when I talk to you. And we really look forward to reading your chapter. And we're so glad you decided to participate in this project.
And go buy the book. Make sure you leave a review. Go buy the book.
Absolutely. So I want to bring in another pastor. Let's talk to Pastor D'Artagnan Jameson. Where are you at, Pastor? How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm great, Dr. Phillips. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm just living the good life. I get to talk to you, all you amazing men. All you amazing men.
Been loving everything thus far.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So Black men, we're different. We're just different. So kind of tell us, how do our experiences as Black men, what differs? So like, the new popular phrase is people of color.
Yeah.
But even if you're a person of color, you don't go through what we go through. How were you able to convey that to our readers?
Man, so before I jump into that, I want to say that the gentleman that was just on before me, Chucky Montgomery, is my first cousin.
Okay.
And he's a slightly more seasoned than I am. So my big cousin has always been a man that I looked up to. He was always much more like an uncle and even a father figure, more than my cousin, right? But when we think about things that you know, our ethnicity goes through, especially Black men, he and I both were raised by strong mothers, single moms. But then we had great supporting systems. So my grandfather was 70 when I was born. My grandparents were the same age. So they were 70 when I was born. So I grew up, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, and understanding that my surroundings, I should always be aware of them. I should always understand that whatever room I go in, I should be prepared to be able to stay in that room. You can't have a pastor talk if he don't preach a little bit. The Bible teaches us that our gifts make room for us. Exactly. And bring us before great men, right? But I found that the challenge for many today is that their gifts will get them in the room, but their character won't allow them to stay. Okay, and too often, what weighs on us as Black men a lot heavier, or I would say rather than on any other ethnicity, is that we tend to carry, not always on purpose or not always willingly, we carry the weight of our people. Okay, because our people are judged by our successes and our failures, and those of us that are able to have a measure of success, it's always met with an asterisk that you're exceptional for, or you've done well for. Right. Not that there's an expectation. So so many things differ from what Black people, what Black men specifically endure or go through. But I think at the same time, I know that there is not a more resilient bunch than those of us who have been through so much and have to go through so much to attain and sustain and continue to be able to continue to meet that bar and continue to meet the expectations that are put on us, sometimes unrealistically. But we are stronger for it. We are resilient for it. And there's not a challenge that we haven't faced that we haven't overcome.
That's beautiful. Now you said something when you said that you and your cousin were both raised by strong women.
Yeah.
So the question that I have, and this is, something that it seems to plague our community. Where are the fathers? Where are the strong men at?
Well, as Chucky would attest, our mothers were smart enough, were God-fearing enough, and strong enough to understand that for everything they could do for us, they could not model a man for us. So they made sure there were men, and there were men, man, I'm going to call a few names, but there's some that we don't have time for me to call them all. But those that were impactful in my life, even in Chucky's life, were people like Mr. John Rhimes, were people like Mr. James Jarrett, people like Mr. Spann, and just so many great men. Mel Brandon, who used to run the Urban League in Flint. There were so many men that were around that our mothers, and watch this, our mothers found men who were in church. Okay. Now we got men from the hood that we were connected to, and we knew, and we saw a lot of things from them. My grandfather used to say, you can learn a lot from a fool, even if it's only how big of a fool they are. But we learned a lot from the church and from the street. Okay, but we were taught and we understood what things we should apply to our lives. Eat the meat, throw the bones away. Right. Understand how life happens, how life impacts people, and then how people will put things on you that are not yours to carry.
Right.
Okay. And only now in the past 10, 15 years has it not been taboo for Black men to talk about things like trauma and anxiety and depression and want to have discussions with people that do that for a profession.
Gotcha.
So there are some fathers that choose to check out. This is my second literary work. And my first one is really a story about my life called Me Ishmael, Defying the Odds. And that book is really a story of my life, not a call out, not a call up, but it was speaking to the fact that you can be resilient and you can still not be a statistic. Counted out for so long. I didn't get my first degree, Doc, till I was 40. And then I completed 3 degrees in 6 years. Okay. But God was with me. God was faithful. And if anyone out there that's watching and know the story of Ishmael and his mom, you can insert D'Artagnan and say, call me D'Artagnan, because that was my life. but there are some great men who have been amazing fathers, who have been great father figures, men that haven't fathered children, have been great fathers. And I think that, you know, we don't have time to talk about society and government and other entities that have plagued the nuclear family, especially in the Black community. But we do know it exists, but there are many that have been dispelling the myths for years.
So Pastor, before I let you go, I'm going to give you an opportunity to minister. I want you to talk to the Black men out there that, you know, it's not working out with my wife, baby mom, and I'm just leaving. And I got a kid and I got all these problems. You know, I got things. What do you say to them? I'm not throwing the towel.
First and foremost, Dr. Phillips, I would say to them that, gentlemen, listen, it's okay that you don't know what you don't know. And there are oftentimes that society and individuals and even the moms or the women who did not understand that they had an expectation for a man to be a father who was not fathered. And if we can walk in that truth and understand it, then communication can start. And then we can start to be healed from the things that we've struggled with, things that we may not have owned, things that we may have suppressed for years and years and years, bitterness, anger, frustration, even hatred. I mean, that's a heavy word, but even that, you know, to tell the men, I would say to them, listen, it's okay that you don't know what you don't know, but we're going to get you the information and then you got to do better. And then I would say to those on the other side of the situation, there must be some grace extended. Now, I'm not talking about Willie Lump and all the knuckleheads that just refuse. Now, that's not the same conversation. But I mean, those that are genuinely trying, those who are genuinely trying to have relationships, because the trauma that they may have experienced from not having a father or having the wrong type of father or having the wrong type of examples in their lives became issues for them, and they've carried them and they perpetuated through their lives into every relationship that they've had. And then on top of that, they were looking to be a father.
Gotcha.
So that's really tough for them.
Well, Pastor, I certainly appreciate you, you know, talking and you being a part of this. You know, there might be some people out there based off listening to you that want to come to your church. Where can they come on Sunday?
So I am the next generation of family life pastor at Montgomery Community Church in Cincinnati, Ohio. And if you go to d'Artagnantjamerson.com, you'll be able to find everything about me.
Thanks a bunch, sir. We appreciate you being a part of this project. You have
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Blessings.
So we want to keep this thing rolling. I know everybody's enjoying it. I want to talk to Mr. DeJuan Robinson. DeJuan, you have some different experiences and some special things about you. We want to thank you for being a part of this project, but what was the turning point for you and where you said, hey, I got to be a part of this?
You know, when we just talk about the heart of the Black man, I think the epitome of why this world is the way it is today, you have to go ahead and seek inside, really kind of understand from our perspective, to understand why we are the way we are, right? And how important it is to value Black men. And of course, along with the title of the book, I just, you know, always resonate with our brothers. I think it's very important that we always collaborate and we try to build a union amongst each other. And big shout out to Miss Talisha Berry for just even coordinating, getting us all together to be able to share our stories and through different chapters, provide insight from phenomenal great men. And so for me, man, I think, you know, I know some of the brothers that's on this, along with this book, along this journey together, seeing the work and the impact that has been made, not only in the community, but for the culture. You know, it's vital to be a part of it. So I just greatly appreciate even just being connected to this wonderful source, but just this great project.
Absolutely. So you said something that kind of triggered me. You said the word value. So can you talk about how Black men have been devalued and what we can do for each other to bring our value up?
Yes, sir. When you talk about since the beginning, I think when you're talking about our role as Black man has been the provider, protector, and all facet, the balance to this world. And a lot of times, like you said, we do get devalued, and we're very sought after individuals. In some form or way, some folks are intimidated by what we bring to the table and who we are, what we represent. And then also, we are just, I think, is what's needed. And I'll just say this real quick. When I was in Egypt, I was, kind of standing in the temples of Ramesses and, kind of looking at all the structures. And those structures are still lasting for thousands of years. When I was looking around and seeing all the work that was done, it was an Arabic man that came to me and said, "Hey, listen, man, you're just saying you got the spirit of a young king." And so, of course, I'm in the temple of Ramesses, and I'm out here looking at the structures. I'm out here in the land, and I'm thinking, okay, so I get what you're saying. But he said, man, when the black man wake up, the game is over.
There you go.
For us, man, we got to wake up and understand who we are, and that's the value part. Understand what's our true essence to bring harmony to this world. And when we start operating in that fashion and we start moving like that and we start collectively working together, then we're going to change this world for the better. And so everybody is waiting on us to step up. When you talk about a family, we're talking about building the family structures. It always starts with, a black man as the pillar, and everybody else has a role as well as equal. But the reason why, it's been engineered to take us out of the family, to weaken the family structure, is intentional. And so what we have to do is, understand what we have to do to get back, to take our rightful place in this world, and then just show up. And so our value, black man, it was a time in life, just because how this world kind of set you up where I didn't see the value in other black men, is because I didn't see the value in myself. And so that means that I was operating out of character, operating not under the anointed, but just kind of really out here moving aimlessly. And when I started saying like, hey, listen, I love myself. I love who I am. I appreciate the skin that I am, that this badge of honor that I wear. I started looking at other brothers as kings, right? Because that's who we are. When we start, moving like kings, then things will be looking much different, not only in our communities, but our families, the way that we can go ahead and build economic resource structures and leave legacies. So it's a point of value for us really to now look at each other as not as opposition. I never want to take away from another black man. Never want to take away from another person just in general, but especially our people, right? I only want to add value, and only in any ways that I can do that, then I'm going to do it. So it's just me just appreciating who we are and what we mean to this world.
So I messed up. Can you tell a man that has seemingly society has thrown away? How does he reset and hit the reset button and become that king that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's all about reaching deep within. I took time to understand how connected we have to be to spirituality. That's our source. So when any type of cord or what have you have to have a plug into power, right, into the outlet. And so once I started looking at, of course, from traditional sin, I know my mother and father and family has always pride on religion, but then also talking about the spirituality within. God creates us in his image. So it's the God within that we have to activate. So if I'm activating that inside, and I'm meditating, I'm reaching a higher power, I'm opening up my vortex and I'm reaching higher levels, then I'm gonna operate differently. I'm gonna see this world differently. And then that's going to dictate my outcomes. So when you want to see, more than yourself, and it took time for me to be able to do that. And everybody do it at different times. I remember like yesterday, I was sitting in Oakland County Jail and I was facing 7 to 15 years. And so I didn't understand. I did understand how I got there. But it was just the thing against the road and all the activity that took place. I just wasn't really applying myself. So during those times, during that days, I started reading a lot. I started meditating, started praying. I started asking for purpose in life. Right? That I didn't want to do the same things that I was doing in the nectars and the sets and the areas where I was coming up from. I wanted to be a difference maker. I wanted to change the game. I wanted to inspire other young brothers and my peers to do the same. And so when I started, digging deep within, looking at, who I am, what I could be, and where we coming from, I owe much more to this culture. I owe much more to my ancestors. We have people who died for us to be in these positions the way that we are right now. We taking advantage. It's at a disadvantage for us overall. So those things had to change. And I had to start with myself. I couldn't blame nobody. Like I said, I couldn't blame other folks for my circumstances and why I found myself in these situations. I just had to really say, listen, it's some value systems that you have to create, then also follow, and then also be a representation of what I should be. And to be honest, man, that's what has carried me on to this time, to this day. And I continue to follow suit. It's not something that I'm doing on my own. It's never that, right? It was asking through the higher power who continues to guide me on a day-to-day basis. What should I be doing, right? And from there, a path was developed. And now I just continue to keep working and just continue to follow the light.
Well, Mr. Robinson, I thank you for taking us to your neighborhood, telling us some insight about you and how to harness that king that's in all of us. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being part of the project, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Peace and love.
Thank you, sir. So as we dive deeper into this session, I want to bring up Mr. Patrick Julian. How you doing, my brother? Tell us where you're from and what you do.
I'm from Flint, Michigan as well.
Okay.
At this time, I'm a property manager and an entrepreneur.
Okay. So as an entrepreneur, there's lots of things and adversity that you face. Kind of tell us about like your personal journey dealing with adversity as a Black man.
Well, my adversity came from within, based on me allowing others to generate my energy to move forward in life. So it was stopping me from being able to go to the next level. So I had to really look at the things that was in my future or things that I really wanted to do in life and decide how I was going to take that road to get there.
Okay. So you're on this road and you make this decision. Like, was it an instantaneous switch? Like, tell us about that journey.
Well, there was multiple decisions. I had to go through different struggles in life. I had to, when I first started, as you read in the book, I started out as an adopted child. And it wasn't necessarily adoption because you have state laws that call it adoption. But, you know, you have your aunt and your uncles that take you in when they need to take you in. And I went through that and enable me to be able to have a second chance at that point in time. So I was given opportunities after opportunities throughout life, which I call the roads to the future.
Beautiful. Well, tell us when you're on this road, how should one's mindset be?
Well, it's good that you say that because the name of my company is Future Mindset LLC. And so what you got to do is you got to be able to have a vision. You got to be a visionary to see what you want, where you want to go, how you want to get there. And so once you are able to figure those things out, then you are able to set, plan, and execute. So being on the road, I was going through singing, dancing, acting. I was getting involved in all types of things. If you ask someone that knows me, they probably tell you I'm this type of person. I'm a singer. Another person might tell you that they know me as an actor. They didn't know I can sing. Or I'm an artist. I can draw. It's different things that I was able to develop through in life that everybody don't know about. I use it when it's time to use it. And that's how you create your future, your mindset, as I say.
Well, thank you for talking to us about the mindset, being a part of this project. We definitely look forward to reading your chapter and learning more about you and your experiences.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
I want to say thanks to Dr. Talisha Berry as well.
Thank you, sir. So I think that as we look at this project in total, I think a scripture that is very, very, very pertinent and relatable to this entire project is that we overcome by the word of our testimony. And so all the brothers that were on here have shared their personal testimony. It should be more than enough to make everyone listening rush out, order the book, get 3 copies, give one away, and just be blessed and learn and grow from it. Again, I want to thank Dr. Berry for putting this group of men together and all the other people that work behind the scenes. My name is Dr. Latane Phillips. You all be blessed and go out and buy the book.
Hey, you're on. You are muted. Larry, you're on. You're muted. We're live. Hey.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes,
Good evening.
yes. I apologize for being that. Yes, but I'm here. Finally hit the unmute button, and so it was such a very good intermission there. And intermission, I see that it was a lot of catching up, and showed a lot of different articles there. And I during that time, did not realize that I was muted. So, but I want to say thank you. We're here this evening with a magnificent crew, with the courageous women that has actually promoted Courageous Men. And we have a book here, The Heart of a Black Man. And we're going to get started on the second portion of this presentation tonight. What I can do is relate to transition to our next author of this book. Is relate to what has happened in my life in the next, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 hours, but I'll tell you what happened in the last 24 hours. I was just there on Capitol Hill. And there on Capitol Hill, I had the opportunity to meet one of our congressional leaders in this area, and explain, the things that we're doing here today about Black men, about some of the challenges that we have, and actually moving us all forward. And one of the things that really seems odd, not so much in reference to the subject matter, was the congressman said that when I stand next to you, not that about what we just talked about, not that, that I feel that you're a Black leader in the community, but because of so much of your past that you have, that you can share with our future, that I want to stand tall. And when I stand next to you, when I stand and take the photo, then I want to stand a little bit taller than I normally stand. And I look at that as the gentleman here today that we are standing side. I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with my brethren with this book, that it allowed me to want to stand a little taller when I take the picture. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And I appreciate Dr. Barry for, allowing this platform, definitely the support that we're getting from Dr. Maria, and also the magnificent group that we have here working. And so what I would like to do is introduce our next speaker of this book is Roosevelt Etheridge. Roosevelt, why don't you tell us, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? And so our next speaker, I'm standing by for Mr. Roosevelt to come on. If we're not able to get Mr. Roosevelt on at this time, I would like for us to speak of one of the other authors. When I speak of the men that we're standing side by side, I feel so proud to stand with them because of the history that they bring and the legacy that they bring to this program. With this book, I was asked to come forward with the heart of a Black man. And it would have been different if they would have asked me to come with admiration, or if they came with the dream of a Black man, or if they asked me to come with the thoughts of a Black man. But they asked me to come with a heart of a Black man. And I think the heart is a magnificent portion of our being. We're here not only with body, soul, and mind, but I think that heart is something that actually helps feed the mind. It is the battery. And looking at the experience of our brethren that we have here online, I have someone that can actually, I think, that brings that heartbeat. You know, that heartbeat when you're talking about someone not only an inspirational leader, but someone that's a coach. And so I would like to introduce you to you, and he will tell you a lot more about himself that I can give him that I could get justice to. Is Coach Ward. Coach Ward, tell our audience a little about you and where you're from.
Oh, first of all, I'd like to just say thank you, Dr. Berry, for allowing me to just take a part of this wonderful Black man, the heart of a Black man. And thank you to Mr. Laws. Coach Cornell Ward. I haven't been a coach long, but I was extremely effective, and this is how it happened. Growing up, I think the topic I wrote in the book, from digging graves to planting seeds, took place just because of that very reason. I grew up in an urban community where it was an urban war zone, like many of us that I've heard earlier. We didn't have the father figures in our lives, never seen my father actually, and was abused by so many different men throughout my childhood life with my mom, and was basically, I believe that I was cursed. However, I had a praying grandmothers, and they interceded on my behalf, and God saved me from myself. And that's where the planting of the seed came from in the book as well. So when you get a chance to read it, I did the same thing to my daughter that my father did to me. And though I'm still with my children and my wife for 38 years, what I done in my life, early ages, affected my child's life to this day. I was a drug dealer, a doughboy they call them, kingpin. At 19 years old, right here in the city of Los Angeles, South Central, where, I spent most of my time in the streets selling poison to my own people. And to this day now, where I'm now officially out of the game a long, long time ago, went back to school. I made All-American as a football player and became a college coach. Even though folks, I really deserve to go to prison in regards to what I've done. But as God's grace and mercy set forth in my life, I was able to do it and flip this thing as these young people, and I flipped it. And I was able to help over 10,000 Black and brown boys go off to college and get their degrees and be good people and service their communities. And now I work for our new mayor, the first woman mayor, Karen Bass, here in Los Angeles, as a gang prevention and intervention specialist, helping the guys make better choices when they have an opportunity to run into some things that I ran into when I was in them same communities and same neighborhoods. And so I've heard the pastors speak earlier about, your testimony is your testament, to give it. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has a gift. However, I've learned that the gift doesn't belong to you. It's for you to give to someone else. And so I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity, again, to be a part of so many great men who have wonderful testimonies to help save lives. And that's what I just love to do, be in a position to help serve people. I used to serve them the wrong stuff. Now God's grace and mercy allow me to serve people the right way.
Yes. Coach Ward, you mentioned about your trials and where you are today, it is a lot of the times before we can actually move forward. People really, if you look at it could be a pilot, or a student that is ready to move to a next location, but they're a little clouded on their vision in reference to what are some of the things that they could actually pursue. What would you say into perspective of an individual that how to look into themselves in reference to some of the things that they can do in the future?
Well, I would always tell them they don't have to worry about the past. Just know that if you're still breathing, you have a chance to make it, and that you just because your character was in confused back then, don't mean that it's that way now. Everybody deserves another opportunity. I 2 or 3 opportunities that I have got, and so that they have. I would say they duped me. They have a story that's called Snowfall. I'm considered the real Leon in Snowfall, and I think the final episode was just last week or this week. However, people always call me every day and they say, "Hey, Coach, that's you, and that was your past." And I said, they said, "Have you watched it?" And I said, "No." Why? Because I lived it. And I don't want to bring back or live back that experience of what helped destroy communities all over this country. I was at 19 years old and making, $2 million a day only because I had access. And I mean, it was a horrible thing. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but that did take place. But I'm grateful because this opportunity came forth to talk about a black man, the heart of a black man, of my people. I was confused back then, but I'm no longer confused, and I give myself wholeheartedly all the time.
Yes. Well, really appreciate you sharing that. And, there's some connection there, I think. You mentioned about digging at the grave. Didn't you talk about that? Yeah.
The digging of a grave, man. Listen, I felt like I was 6 feet under, but yet still alive because of the lifestyle that a confused young kid, boy, young man have chosen to do it. And I see it all the time now. And so it's a lot easier for me to go out into these streets, what I do every day, to get them to put the guns down, to get them to choose another way of life versus selling dope, to their own folks right in their own environment, in their own community. And then I'll take them to that point. If you want to go back, it don't have to be a rush. We can take our time and get it done, even though they're looking for food, clothing, and shelter. And a lot of times they are overlooked. And I'm talking about our black and brown babies. But a confused mind is unstable, but I speak life into dying circumstances, and God prevails. And he has done so.
Yes.
I've helped over at least 10,000 babies, move on in their life to do something positive and take care of themselves as well as their families.
Yes, well, great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And I would like for our audience to experience another, story from the heart of a black man, which is someone. If you've been on the line for the last hour, you probably heard Dr. Phillips. Dr. Phillips was narrating and hosting an earlier portion. Dr. Phillips, I would like for you to come in and just and share with our audience a little bit more about who you are and what are you doing in our community.
Morning, everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. My name is Dr. Latame Phillips. I am the CEO of Hunger Busters. Our motto is feeding kids, fueling futures. So essentially what we do, we are an after-school feeding program where we offer children ages 3 years old to 6th grade dinner. And during that time, we have mentors and tutors and everything come through and just talk to the kids while they eat dinner.
All right. Right. Yes. Well, I really appreciate that. Will you sharing that with us? And there's another speaker out there. It's Andrew Vaughn. And so, Andrew Vaughn, are you there to come in and introduce yourself, please?
I'm here. Can you hear me clearly? Awesome. Now I'm excited to be a part of this project. When you talk about the heart of a black man, you talk about competition versus collaboration. Many people, try to compete on a daily basis. And one of the biggest challenges I see is they breaking the family up, and just the project of the Heart of the Black Man brings the family. Look, Dr. Talisha Berry calls a Black man. She's leading a project where we're submitting to her for the greater good. And then you have Dr. Diana. This is what the family is supposed to do. And so they have 30 different authors. Think about it, 30 different authors. Most people don't know each other across the country. And to be able to pull something off like this is nothing short of amazing. And I'm excited to be a part of it. You know, my chapter, really quickly, and I'll get out of your way. My chapter was How They See Me. And it was so ironic. The other day, I was in shorts, I was in a sweatshirt, I was in the bank parking lot. And it's amazing that young lady came of another persuasion. She said, "Sir, can you help me with my ATM card?" I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. Help you with your ATM card? Oh, is this a setup?" And, you know, I'm in sweats, I'm in Crocs, I don't have a suit, I don't have anything. And she said, "Sir, can you help me?" I said, "Well, where's your card?" She says, "Right here." I said, I'm gonna need to see your ID. I'm gonna need to see your license, right? So go to your car and get your license. And so I looked at her license, I checked it out, Dr. Phillips, and when I looked at it, it was her name. So I said, "Well, let me help you." She didn't speak English. And so I'm still looking around like, man, I must be punked. And so I started telling her, and as soon as she looked at her pen, I turned my back and I let her go, and I turned my back. And it was so funny that in a million years, I would have never thought that somebody of a different persuasion would even trust me, because I wouldn't have trusted me to ask me to even help her withdraw money. So I was like, man, I wrote a chapter on how they see me, but even through the Heart of a Black Man, we're already changing the narrative. And so now she understood the Heart of a Black Man. She understood that we're ready to go to a whole nother level, and it all starts with one person. And so now I have the confidence to go to the next level, that everybody don't see me the way I thought they saw me. And so now I've been prejudiced. I've been prejudiced that I said all of these people, they think of me and they see me in a certain light, and that's just not the truth. And so as I've accused people of being prejudiced, I've been prejudiced on my own. And so I'm grateful for the Heart of a Black Man. I've learned something that, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. So just because somebody treated me a certain way, just because I've been pulled over multiple times and have you been drinking? I haven't drank in 20 plus years. I'm just not interested in it, and all the things that come with people pulling you over. Everybody's not like that. And if we can go back to Martin Luther King when he said white men and black men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestant, Catholics, well, we can go back to that and just understand that, give everybody a chance, just like we want people to give us a chance. We got to give everybody a chance. And that's why I'm so excited about this project. I'm so excited about being a serial entrepreneur. I'm so excited about these wonderful, beautiful Black men getting together in collaboration instead of competition. I'm so grateful for Dr. Talisha Berry, and Dr. Dan. I want to be Dr. Dre pretty soon, but I'm so grateful for their patience and for all the viewers. I mean, support the project. We're going #1. Go order right now. It's only $2.99. It should not make a difference. You should be ordering 10 and 20 books, because what it's going to do is now we're going to have children on the next episode, and girls and little, and so they can look up to something. So they don't have to look at people in jail and things of that nature. There are the Heart of a Black Man that's on here. We have courageous women, and we're all collaborating and working together for the greater good. And so I'm excited. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm ready to make a difference. So back to you, sir. I'm throwing it back to you. And I appreciate all you wonderful Black men, and I appreciate the doctors in the house, the females that are still holding us down like they've never held us down before. So we appreciate you as well.
Yeah, I want to thank you. Thank you very much, Andre Vaughn, for that. And I have a question for Coach Ward. Coach Ward,
Yes.
What inspired you to actually contribute to writing and to be a co-author of the Heart of a Black Man?
Well, I mean, it's almost like a vision that came in the wee hours of the night. I saw these hands and these chains, and I thought about when I was facing 44 years to life in prison, and God said, "No, not this one," and He set me free. Everybody thought I went to prison, but I went back to school. And I was able to turn it for the right purpose. And I became the youngest head football coach in the history at Compton Community College, took them to their first bowl game in 50 years, graduated hundreds of student athletes all over the country, all over the world, played in the NFL. Some got Super Bowl rings. Some got, they got degrees, master's degrees. I even have a few that even have PhDs. So that's planting the seed when you speak life into a dying circumstance. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Dr. Berry, for even this opportunity, because I should have been dead and in my grave many, many, many years ago. But thanks be to God, I'm here. Right. I still stand.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that. And for all of you out there, it's an opportunity for you to experience the stories. Please check out the book, The Heart of a Black Man. And you see that you have very good authors that have a lot that they want to give back and share. Thank you. Dr. Maria. Okay.
I'm here. How can I help?
Yes, and so our speakers have had the opportunity to present themselves, and so we're ready to move on.
Awesome, awesome. I believe we have 3 more incredible authors. Mr. Roosevelt Etheridge, did you get an opportunity to speak?
Hey, good evening to all of you. No, ma'am, I have not introduced myself as of yet, but I'm glad to be here tonight. And it is
awesome. Take it away.
Okay. All right. It is an awesome opportunity to just be here again with my brothers from all over. I'm so honored by the opportunity given by Dr. Berry and Dr. Diana for this moment to just share stories and share experiences to impact the nation. I am Dr. Roosevelt Etheridge. I'm out of North Carolina, and I speak a lot about being a single father. And my contribution to this work is talking about the unwed father and what it looks like to not be married, but raising your child or your children and the dynamics in those experiences.
Awesome. Awesome. Same here. I understand. I definitely understand. We are so excited and ready to get this thing rolling. What would you tell the listener tonight? I know we have to rush. We are wrapping up. We're running out of time, but if you can give me about 20 seconds of what you'd like the listeners to know about your portion in the book.
What I would like any reader to know is that you do not have to live in the horror or the fear of being a single parent, definitely a single father, and that we must grow in our experiences and learn to love, trust, and be vulnerable again, even though we've been wounded.
Absolutely. Awesome. Very powerful. I can speak to that. And I'm going to actually throw that, like perfect timing, throw that to Dr. Phillips. He was a single father of 5 for many, many years, the majority of their lives. He can dive in on that as well. But if that's something that he'd like to talk about now, please definitely do that. We also would love to know, why did you become a part of the project? Because when I mentioned it to you, it was an immediate yes. So yeah, we would definitely like to know about that.
Yeah, so I became a single father of 5 children quite a long time ago. At the time, I had a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 9-month-old. And I embraced it, though. And the reason why I embraced it is because I have no idea who my father is. Long story short, the guy on my birth certificate is not my father. And when I asked my mom, she told me one person, and I asked her other people, they told me different people. I joined this project because we don't share our feelings enough, and it's time that stops. And I want everybody to know how I feel. And so sometimes we bottle things up, and it's looked at as rage and different things like that. But it's time for us as Black men to lead the charge on feelings, and that's why I said yes so quickly.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I'm super, super excited to learn more about that. I know it is going to help a lot of us. Wrapping this up, Reverend Leroy Evans.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So I know that I'm rushing you a little bit. It is only because we are running out of time.
That's no problem at all.
To hear more from you. Yeah, absolutely. So if you can just tell us a little about yourself and why you decided to have a part in this project.
Well, a little about myself. I'm an ordained minister. I'm an actor. I've done plays, movies, a couple of movies. One thing I can say, reason why I got to be a part of this, because it gives me a chance to tell my story and then to tell what I've been through and struggles I've been through coming up, and to keep my focus through the whole thing. I kept my focus even when it was hard to get to the destiny that God has set for me, which was better than anything I have ever endured.
Absolutely. Awesome. Dr. Berry, are you wanting to wrap this up? I certainly want to make sure you have some closing remarks since you are the genius and queen of this entire project. We appreciate you so much. So I'm going to pass it to you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Diana, and thank you to all of the men. This is a God project. That's what this is. And I am so full today by listening to the hearts of these amazing men that were here today. I tell you, when I say I'm full, I'm sincere that these stories really blessed my life. And I knew that was going to take place. So my hope is that those that are listening, that you've been blessed tonight, that something resonated with you and your family, or if you're one of our courageous women, some of these men resonated with you, and their stories were like people that you know, and your family, your brothers and fathers. So I hope that even the men that are here, that you got something from your other brothers. This is a brotherhood too, so that you were here to encourage other people, and that you were encouraged as well. So I am so, like I said, I'm so full. I thank each and every one of you, all of these amazing stories, all of you that are here tonight. I mean, I had to grab some tissue because these stories really took me there. And even though I've read them, but to hear you speak and to hear your hearts for myself, to hear you talk about these stories and be interviewed and ask these questions is amazing to me. And I feel so grateful and honored that I even had the opportunity to work with each and every one of you. And I thank you all, and I thank everyone for tuning in to hearing. So please go to Amazon and grab your copy so that you can read the full stories of all of these amazing 30 courageous men in the heart of a Black man.